I would just like to preface this by saying this was not my intention. Hey, what's up everyone? Welcome to my channel. Today we are doing the first haul of 2024. If you're new here, what's up? My name's Elise. Welcome to my channel. I'm glad you decided to stop in. If you're not new, welcome back. It's great to see you again. Guys, I didn't mean to. First off, I got a lot of gift cards. Second off, there were some sales. Third off, I had a bad day. And that's why this haul is happening. First, you know what? Let's go through the gifts that I received, or the books that I bought using gift cards. The first book I don't have on me, but I am currently reading it right now. I've talked about it on my Instagram a few times, and that is Intuitive Editing. I am currently writing a book. It's off to the editors now, so I thought it would be really good to have sort of some knowledge about how editing works aside from me. So far I'm really enjoying it. I'm about 80 pages in, and it's written by an editor of some pretty big books and some pretty big authors. So she kind of takes you through her process for editing and what she thinks has helped her authors that she's worked with write a better story, or, you know, turn their original story into a better story with the process of editing. That was a gift because my mom gave me a gift card to Amazon. I bought my textbooks with it, and then I spent the rest on books. So the next book that I consider a gift is Story Genius by Lisa Cron. How to use brain science to go beyond outlining and write a riveting novel. So I'll be reading this one after Intuitive Editing. Next, I got a book from PR by the Books, and that is a book called Farm Family by Jane Lee Rankin. This is about a woman who found out she was pregnant. The baby daddy didn't want to do anything with her. I think something happened with her family. She was kind of estranged from them. So she moved to New England and started an alpaca farm. And something to know about me is I am obsessed with anything to do with yarn. I love to knit, crochet, I have a spinning wheel, I make my own yarn, and so I'm obsessed with alpacas. Even before I did all of that, I loved alpacas anyway, so I'm really excited to read this story. I actually live next to an alpaca farm. We have one down the road from us, so I'm just excited to read a story about a woman who triumphed despite, you know, what has happened to her in her life, has succeeded despite people telling her she couldn't, has overcome things, and it has to do with cute, fluffy, amazing animals. I'm here for it. These next two are from my boyfriend Cooper. He was really sweet and got these for me. So thanks, babe. The first one is House of Earth and Blood by Sarah J. Maas. I've already read this series. I have it on ebook and audiobook, but I really wanted to annotate. I'm currently about 120 pages in and really enjoying the annotation process. I'm taking my time. Yes, I know I'm behind on the House of Flame and Shadow release, but you know what? It's okay. I'm having a really good time rereading it, and thanks, babe, for getting this for me. The next book that my boyfriend got me was Done and Dusted by Lila Sage. I have been wanting to get this for a while, and I haven't found it at Barnes & Noble for like the longest time, so when my boyfriend got an Amazon gift card, he was like, yeah, you can get some books. Very excited. I have a lot of friends who really love this. I love me like a Western contemporary romance. Love me some cowboys. Hopefully this will be a fun time. Another book that my boyfriend got me, we went thrifting and he wanted to get a Stephen King book because he like used all of his listening hours on Spotify for audiobooks, and so he wanted to continue it while he was waiting. And then I saw this book and freaked out, and he got it for me. So I have already read this book. I just wanted to add it to my collection because I am slowly collecting the Dark Olympus series. Currently I'm only missing, I think, Wicked Beauty is the only one that I don't physically own right now. And then the newest one is coming out soon too. But anyway, thank you so much, Cooper. You're the best. One more book that I got with a gift card is House of Sky and Breath by Sarah J. Maas. Again, I have read this series, but I didn't own it physically, and I wanted to have it so that I could annotate it. I wanted the hardcover, believe it or not, because I'm a paperback girly, but like the big ones, the big paperbacks, they just feel just as awkward and I feel like this would be more sturdy. I don't know, it made sense in my brain, but thank you so much, Mom, for my gift card so that I could get this. You're the best. Okay, this next book is kind of in a weird category. Basically what I did is I took a bunch of books that I unhauled that I am not going to gift or possibly sell on Pango Books. Just some old ones that I didn't think as many people would be interested in, and I sold them at half price books, and then I used that credit to get this book. So we have Blonde Identity by Allie Carter. I have read all of her Gallagher Girl series, and I loved that series so much. It like was such an influential part of growing up for me. So I was so excited to hear about this book. This book has to do with a woman who wakes up with no memory. She only knows 3 things. She has a splitting headache, the hottest guy she has probably ever seen is standing over her telling her to run, and oh yeah, people are trying to kill her. So she doesn't know who or why, but she sees footage of herself fighting off a dozen men, and there's only one explanation. Obviously she's a spy, except it turns out that that spy is her twin sister. So she has no memory. Obviously someone's out to get her. They think she's her sister. Her sister's the one with the skills. She is not, and I just hear it's a fun romp of a story. The next few books I have are thrifted, so let's talk about those. First we have Iron Widow. I got this at Half Price Books by Jiren J. Zhao. I've read this book already. I read it in 2022. Loved it, and the second book is coming out this year. I talk about it in this video if you're interested in some of those reads that I'm looking forward to this year and when they come out. So I'm excited to have it. I want to reread it and annotate it. I really enjoyed it, and I am just excited to have it on my shelf. These next few books I got from the secondhand section at the library that I work at, and so I got all of these for $1 each. So first we have Eleanor Affiliate is Completely Fine. This has to do with a woman who struggles with appropriate social skills and tends to say exactly what she's thinking. But everything changes when Eleanor meets Raymond, the bumbling IT guy from her office, whose big heart will ultimately help Eleanor find the way to repair her own profoundly damaged one. It sounds really sweet. I've seen good reviews. It's been on my TBR for a while. I just never really had a reason to pick it up necessarily, and so now I do. Then we have Bless Your Heart, Ray Sutton by Susanna B. Lewis. I remember reading the synopsis of this in Barnes & Noble once and thinking it sounded really cute, but I had other books I wanted more at the time, and then it showed up in the secondhand section, so I was really excited to see that. I don't really know what this is about, but the whole like bless your heart thing in the South, it's kind of a thing. So it looks like it has to do with some grief. She recently loses her mom and then moves back into her home with her 14-year-old daughter. She kind of tries to join the community that she's in, and it's about found family and letting people help you in your life, whether or not you had initially planned for that or not. Ray relies on the unlikely family she's found and begins to wonder if her future holds more hope than she could ever have imagined. So it sounds heartwarming and cozy and found family with a little bit of humor dashed in there as well. Then we have The Party Crasher by Sophie Kinsella. This one sounds wild and crazy and just like kind of fun. So apparently her parents got divorced. Her dad has the family home and she's estranged from him, but now he's getting married again and they're selling the house. Her stepmother decides to throw a house cooling party, so like one last party before they sell it off. Effie is not on the guest list, but then she remembers that she has a childhood treasure still hidden in the house. Even though she's not on the guest list, she tries to go and like crash the party so that she can get this beloved hidden treasure. I like this part. Watching how her family behaves when they think no one is looking, Effie begins to see them all in a new light. And then she runs into Joe, the handsome love of her life, who long ago broke her heart, and even more truths emerge. So it just sounds like fun, goofy, silly. It doesn't take itself too seriously. Last but not least of the thrifties, we have Eldest by Christopher Paolini. I've already read this a gazillion times. We have a family set, but I will be moving soon, and I just don't feel like it's my place to take the family set, so I'm going to start collecting my own set so that I can also mark it up if I want to. Look at how floppy this is. so satisfying. This is the second book in the Inheritance Cycle by Christopher Paolini. I love this series. It holds such a special place in my heart, and I do want to reread it soon because Murtaugh is the 5th book in the series and I need to read it. It just came out recently. The next book I pre-ordered forever and a half ago, probably 6 months ago, and I just received it recently, and that is Barbarian's Touch by Ruby Dixon. This is the 7th book in the series, I believe, following Lila and Rogan, one of my favorite books in the Ice Planet Barbarian series. So I finally received the special edition with some goodies. We have the Ruby Dixon signed plate, some sticker artwork by Conky. She is so fun. I love her artwork. A bookmark, I think also by Conky. I love that he has her hands up to his mouth so she can feel what he's saying. So Lila is deaf in the story, and so he uses sign. They both use sign language, and I just love how they represent that in the story. It's just really sweet. And then also I got like a cute little New Year's postcard. It says Happy New Year. So it's Lila and Rogan and the grumpy little Metlack over here. The next round of books are books that I didn't intend on buying. I didn't intend on buying any of these, okay, if I'm being honest. So my Barnes & Noble had a moving sale. Lucky for me, or unluckily for me, the Barnes & Noble that is on my way to and from work is moving locations much farther away from me. So they had a giant closing sale in January. All of these were 50% off. And I got my membership discount on top of that. So I got 7 of these books, including a hardcover graphic novella for like 50 bucks. How could I pass that up? So let's go through these. First we have Saddle Hill Academy Sweet and Bitter Rivals by Jessica Burkhart. Raise your hand if you were a Saddle Club girly, because I was a Saddle Club girly. I grew up absolutely obsessed with that show. I am still a horse girly. I never grew out of absolutely loving and adoring horses. Like, if I could just go to a stable and just groom the horses, I would be living my best life. So this is a middle grade novel. It's just about a girl who goes to like an equestrian prep school, and I guess she has a rival. I read the first chapter and it sounded cute, and it looks like it's gonna be a breeze. Having it 50% off, like I couldn't pass it up. That was my signal. That was my excuse. Then we have Birds of California by Katie Cotugno. This has also been on my TBR for a little while. I believe it is a romance book about a former child actress who dropped out of the spotlight after a spectacular crash and burn. Now she's past that. She's gotten some of her privacy, but there is another actor named Sam Fox who played her older brother on the TV show that crashed and burned. When his current show gets canceled and his agent starts to avoid his call, the desperate actor enthusiastically signs on for Birds of California revival, which was the show that they were both in. Against her better judgment, Fiona agrees to have lunch with Sam. What happens next takes them both by surprise. But just like in the rom-coms Fiona despises, there's a twist that threatens her new love. Sam doesn't know the full story behind her breakdown. What happens when she reveals the truth? Then we have Now Is Not the Time to Panic by Kevin Wilson. I read Nothing to See Here in 2022. It was one of my favorite reads of the year. I had such a great time reading it. Essentially what happens is there's dual timeline, but in the past, her and this guy kind of get together and they create kind of strange abstract art. And then this art starts cropping up other places, and it kind of starts this unexpected movement. People are kind of taking, you know, meaning from it, that like they're creating meaning for it, and it's creating this like movement, this uprising. Flip to the current timeline, and she's getting calls from reporters saying like, we think you started this movement and people died from it. So bit of a mystery element, a bit of art and interpretation. I'm really curious and intrigued to see what the result of it is. Then we have The Freedom Clause by Hannah Sloan. I've heard mixed reviews on this, but I read like the first 2 chapters and really enjoyed the writing style. It's kind of Sally Rooney-esque in my opinion, which Sally Rooney's hit or miss for me, but we'll see how it goes. But basically this couple, Daphne and Dominic, have been together since they were pretty young in college. They've been together for a few years. They're like, they love each other so much, but I guess their sex life is kind of boring, and so they decide to kind of spruce it up, and one night a year they can do whatever with whomever, but I guess it has like unexpected consequences, so I'm curious to see. Then we have Blackout, a novel by several different authors. We have Angie Thomas, Ashley Woodfolk, and Nicola Yoon, Donielle Clayton, Tiffany D. Jackson, and Nick Stone. So each of the authors writes like a different short story, but they're all interconnected about this night where the electricity blacks out in New York City. I've heard great things about this book. Also, it's short. We know how I feel about short books. Then we have The Girl with the Louding Voice by Abi Dade. The remarkable, inspiring story of a teenage girl growing up in the rural Nigerian village who longs to get an education so that she can find her louding voice and speak up for herself. The Girl with the Louding Voice is a simultaneously heartbreaking and triumphant novel about the power of fighting for your dreams. And I read the first chapter, and I can already tell I'm gonna love how the story is told, like the writing style. And then we have Lore Olympus Volume 2. I've already read this. I absolutely love this series by Rachel Smythe. I read it on Webtoons before it even became an idea of a graphic novel. So I don't have the first one or any of the others, but for some reason the second volume was on sale at Barnes & Noble. I don't know why. So I was like, you know what? I do want to collect these. I do want the hardcover. That way they last longer, because I know I'll flip through them a lot. And I got it for like 16 bucks, which I think is a really good deal for this book and this art. So that was the unexpected Barnes & Noble shopping spree that I did not anticipate having, but could not pass up. Girl math. I saved a lot of money on that trip. There was one day, kind of a rough day, and so I went to Target to get a few things, and I said I could buy one book for myself, and I did. I bought one book, The Fake Mate by Lana Ferguson. I've heard great things about it. Ruby Dixon has complimented it and shouted this book out, so I trust Ruby Dixon, and it just sounds really fun. And I'm in my like shifter romance era, so I was so proud of myself. I got this one book and I walked out, and that was it. So that is the story of this book. This has to do with this doctor who is an alpha, but he isn't mated, and then I guess his committee for his hospital finds out, and they're like, you need a mate. And then we have the Omega. She's a nurse. Her grandmother is obsessed with finding her a mate and settling down. I guess they kind of like overhear that they like what's happening with each other, and they kind of like agree to fake date. I hear it's a fun time. And yesterday, happy Sarah J. Maas Day to everyone. I did pick up my copy of House of Flame and Shadow, the last book of the Crescent City series for now. She's so beautiful. And I immediately got the blow dryer and took off my sticker. So you can't even tell that there was a sticker there. I'm so excited to have this. I am so excited to read it, but I'm gonna get through those other two books first. Shout out to all of my anxious girlies out there. I wouldn't say I'm anxious on a day-to-day basis, but there are some days where it hits, and it hits hard. And this was one of those days. First things first, I bought the second book in the Shatter Me series, Unravel Me by Tahira Mafi. Do I know if I like this series yet? No, I don't know. But do I need the second book just in case? Absolutely. Then I literally squealed when I saw this, because this is the first time I've actually seen this book in person, and that is The Girls I've Been by Tess Sharp. One of my favorite books of last year. So excited to have it in my hands. Plus the second book comes out this year too. So I love this book so much, and I'm so glad and proud to have it on my shelves. I don't know what order these go in, but did I get the next 3 books of the Bergman Brothers series by Chloe Lisset? Yeah. 1, because I really like Chloe Lisset. 2, because I trust her. And 3, because this artist, Sam, also known as Ink and Laurel, is the artist of my book. So I gotta support my gals. We gotta support each other. And I really want to try and read this series this year. And the people who love it, I trust. So I just know it's gonna be good. And I'm gonna be grateful one day that I have all of these books prepared and ready for me to binge. The next books that I got, Reckless and Powerless, the 3rd and 4th book in the Chestnut Springs series by Elsie Silver. Have I read the first 2 books? No. But do I know in my core, in my soul, that I'm gonna love these books? Yeah. I am 100% positive that I'm gonna love this series. I'm ready for them. Last but not least, we have The 7-Year Slip by Ashley Poston. I have seen so many people who love this and likened it to my favorite movie, About Time. Favorite movie, like, period. About Time. I love that movie so much, and so many people have likened it to this book. And I read the first chapter and was just swept away. I'm so ready to read this. That was such a good stack of books right there. I want to read so many books, you guys. But you know what? It's so nice having options. And being a mood reader, options are really, really nice. Okay, my friends, thank you so much for joining me. Anyway, thank you guys so much for watching. I hope you enjoyed it. Please be sure to give this a thumbs up if you did, and do all the YouTube things that you probably already know how to do. If you made it this far, please consider subscribing and joining our fam, and I will see you in my next video. Bye, everyone.